I started my journey over 14 months ago, and as I look back, there are a few things I wish I knew then that I know now. Hello, I'm Charles, and I go by the round mountain Zepbound. Welcome or welcome back. Let's start with titration. I did a lot of studying and learning before starting my journey, and there are two things that I gathered real quickly. One, don't titrate up too fast because once you get to 15, there is nowhere to go if you need more time to get to your goal. And two, according to the trials, there was about a 1% difference in weight loss between those that made it to the 10 milligram dose and those that made it to the 15 milligram dose. Knowing these two things, my goal was to get to 10 milligrams and ride the wave and keep the 12.5 milligram and 15 milligram doses as backup should I need them. The goal that I set was to get to 225 and to lose about 3 pounds per week. I figured I could get there with the combination of working out and the medication. That was kind of a stretch goal though, and I had no idea how things would work going into this process. I absolutely would have been happy with a 1 to 2 pound loss per week. Well, I did end up averaging over 3 pounds of loss per week, and I reached my initial target of 225 in 29 weeks. Did I need to titrate up to 10 milligrams to get there though? No. I was kind of on that path because of the trial data and the titration schedule from the trial. Looking back, I lost 16.5 pounds on the 2.5 milligram dose in the first month. Then I lost 12 pounds during my 1 month of 5 milligrams. I did 3 months of 7.5 milligrams and I lost 13.9 in the first month, 9.8 in the second month, and 13.6 in the third month. Now, there really was no reason for me to go to 10 milligrams. Really, there was no reason for me to go to 7.5 milligrams after just 1 month on 5 milligrams. I likely would have had the same or similar results if I stayed on 5 milligrams the entire time. At the time, I wasn't aware of the concept of a hyper responder, which it is apparent that I am. I just had a goal to get to 10 milligrams because of the documented weight loss for that dose from the trial and the ability to have 12.5 and 15 milligram doses in reserve should I need them. Well, I know better now. If I had to do it over, I would likely slow play it a little more than I did. If you're not stalling and you're seeing satiety along with food noise suppression, there likely isn't a reason for you to move up. Just have those discussions with your provider. The next thing I wish I knew was that I could have gotten a DEXA scan at a local spot at the start of my journey to give me a better idea of my body's composition. And that would allow me to maybe formulate a better goal weight than randomly pulling 225 out of the air. This was even more of a miss for me because the SMART scale that I was using was wildly inaccurate in terms of composition. I was using a Withings body cardio scale, which I thought would be well within the ballpark due to their reputation. While I wasn't paying much attention to it, I found out how off it was when I finally got a new scale and did a DEXA scan in July. The new scale, an UFI P3 SMART scale, was very much in line with my DEXA scan results, but the Withings scale was way off. At the time, the DEXA scan had my body fat percentage at 23.3%, whereas the Withings had me at 13.9%. The UFI had me at 24%, so you can see that the Withings scale is way off. Now, looking back, all the data collected in terms of body composition from the first 6 to 7 months of my journey is now unusable. I just wish I had a better starting point to measure the fat and muscle recomposition changes throughout my journey and know if there were any specific areas of my body that I should pay more attention to in my workouts. So if you're in Austin, Dallas, Los Angeles, Orange County, California, San Francisco, San Jose, or Seattle, you can get a scan for about $60 at a place called Body Spec. Now, I don't have a Body Spec near me, so I went to a place called DexaFit, which has locations all across the country. In comparison, it cost me $140 at my local DexaFit to get my scan done. The next thing I wish I would have known is how quickly my weight loss would happen, so I could have been better prepared in terms of planning for clothes. I lost over 91 pounds in 29 weeks. Now, due to that rate of loss, I had to change out my clothes multiple times within that time frame. I spent a few $1,000s on clothes during that first 6 to 7 months of my journey, and then I continued to lose after hitting my initial goal. And since then, I have bought some additional clothes to account for the additional 20 plus pounds that I lost since I went into maintenance. I would estimate that it's close to probably $3,000 or more all in and replacing my wardrobe at least 4 times over. Thankfully, I had the means, but I probably would have done some thrift shopping to bridge the gap a little better, because there were times where clothes would only fit me for about a month or so before they became too big. But buying clothes isn't something that you really add into the equation as you're focusing on losing weight. In this process, it's kind of back of the mind, and then you realize that you have to go out and get some new clothes because these things aren't fitting right. And I'm not one to like shopping in the first place. So, and finally, I wish I would have better documented my journey with the use of pictures and videos. I didn't start documenting my journey for social media until I was already about 2 months into the process. By that time, I was already 30 pounds down, so I completely missed what I looked like at the start of the journey. And as for the videos that I uploaded to social media, I deleted the raw files for those after I uploaded them. And that's a big miss by me. There's something about a picture or a video that drives home your transformation that you just can't get from looking in the mirror or from other people's commenting on your changes. And I can't explain why that is. Often, we spent so much time hiding from the camera that we forget about the necessity of this documentation. So if you're getting started on this journey, make sure that you're visually documenting your changes at least one time per week. Now, I'm not saying that you must post these anywhere. These can be your private collection that is for your eyes only. But it is important to give yourself that visual to help you through the denial of your change. Because you'll look at yourself in the mirror and it won't really click to you until you see that picture or you see that video of how much you really changed, especially when you can do a side by side. So those are some of my biggest regrets or lessons that I've learned. So if you're just starting your journey, these are just a few things to consider as you forge your path. And if you've already been down this road, what are your lessons learned or your regrets? Let's talk about it in the comments.